Goddamn thing. It's not been the best day for computers, or maybe it has been the best day for computers. It all depends on how you want to look at it. Okay. YouTube says I am actually streaming. Twitch says I am actually streaming. That implies it is a Thursday night. I am a Screaming Wyvern. I call myself Wyvern because, like a dragon, I hoard role-playing games. I'm also unbalanced and occasionally toxic, as proven last week when I was kicked off Twitch for having opinions. Not Twitch, TikTok. Not that anyone actually cares about that. I just wanted one more place to show off my stuff. And tonight, Thursday, is solo role-playing game night. Tonight we are playing Wanderer, the Shadowed Realm, which is very much a traditional role-playing game. I haven't actually done anything quite this traditional in a while. On this night, obviously, we had a X-Crawl campaign going on a few weeks back, and the next episode of that will be the 10th, if all of the people playing can just avoid getting the COVID and being passed out too much. But that's not as important as showing off this wonderful game by Cody Barr. Let's get into it. So, here we have it in Wander of the Shadow Realms in my little tabletop. Where's my cards? Make sure I've got those. Make sure I've got that. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look through this. This is the second edition of a game called Wandering Souls. For the record, a solo For the record, I actually have been streaming and editing for a project for my office today. So this is where my tongue tying will get brutally visible. The Shadowed Realms was the second edition of Wandering Souls, a solo role-playing adventure of overcoming shadows, clashing swords, casting sorceries, and dreaming in a world surrounded by darkness. You play as a wanderer, someone that is taken to adventuring across the lands, helping those in need and looking to make a name for yourself. As you progress through your personal or shared story in Wanderer, new discoveries will be made and legacies created from the actions taken. In Wanderer, there is no game master. You are the keeper of the rules and the purveyor of story. Go at your own pace, find your flow, and enjoy the process. If you aren't having fun with a quest, encounter, or character, change it up. Journaling is optional in Wanderer. Some players enjoy tracking progress through short entries, while others enjoy just rolling and resolving combat and events in the world. And some people like to be so bold and brash as to try and televise their encounters to the whole world. What you need to play: the core rules, this book, a copy of a character sheet for each player. You can see that on my stream. I'm using a good old-fashioned spreadsheet for it. Pencil, eraser, or suitable alternative. I am using a good old spreadsheet for it. 2 6-sided dice. I grabbed a couple of extras just in case. One's 4-sided die, 8-sided die, 10-sided die, and 12-sided die. And of course, if I need it, I've got plenty around the place as well. A deck of standard playing cards, 52 cards with Joker/Wild in, and between 30 minutes and an hour for each session. And of course, this is my 2 hours of joy time. I have, of course, not created my character so that we can begin at the beginning. So let's go ahead and discuss the world. Wardens come from all walks of life, but always share the core character trait of trying to do good in a world that is struggling to stay safe. There are no races, bigots, or fascist wanderers in this game, and they are not welcome. There will always be some good worth fighting for, even as the shadows close in. Okay, that's enough meaningful pause. The Wanderer. You are a wanderer, an adventurer, and champion for the common folk. Born during exceptional times, and oh my god, are we sick of them being exceptional. You have experienced a change in your life that has pushed you outward to now take on the role of a brave and bold soul, seeking adventure. Putting yourself in peril is something you willingly choose to do with your own goals in mind always, for good. Wanderers are among the few who continue to hold the spark of hope, knowing that the evil can be resisted and even defeated. Countless wanderers have taken up arms to fight, with many falling to the shadows, yet the call to adventure continues to bring opposition to the forces of the shadows. Without wanderers, the evils of the realm would be much closer to their own victory than many would dare think. Your world has been under threat by an ever-advancing force of evil since the time of great heroes and villains, now almost forgotten many. The Shadows, a collection of greater evils and corrupted peoples, continue to advance their plots, desiring domination and corruption of all. This presence weighs heavily on the inhabitants, with few safe havens still existing where the Shadows have not fully touched. These locations are prime targets for the Shadows. A shadow possesses the ability to corrupt the will of all of the land, turning even the most valiant wanderers, lords, ladies, and adventurers to an evil path. Exploiting weaknesses at crucial moments allows for the ever-present threat of the shadows to continue. The Shrouded Realm. The Shrouded Realm is a large coastal region populated by mountains higher than clouds, caves deeper than the seas, and ancient forests on the borders. The realm is a place of prosperity, peace, and cooperation among the populations, human, elf, and dwarf. Other folk types, such as the humble halfling or noble ogre. Well, it's a good thing to have echo, you know? The realm is a place of prosperity. No, I did that one. Oh, other folk types such as the humble halfling or noble ogre are a rare sight and often reclusive, but no less important to the realm. The shadow plot separates and corrupts those living their lives in otherwise relative peace. Rulers organize and command armies to fight back against the shadow's armies, delaying the inevitable fall of kingdoms and cities. Alliances are spread wide and far, with only a few pockets of the Shrouded Realm fully protected from the evils lurking further out. The prosperous orcs and goblins living on the borders of the realm were first to fall to the Shadow's corruption, and they now make up the majority of their forces. Undead, werebeasts, and feral animals roam the wilds with the Shadow's armies, terrorizing those weakest and most susceptible to corruption. Orcs and goblins are not inherently evil by nature and are not more prone to evil than any folk type. The player may choose to be an orc or goblin that has not been corrupted by the shadows, as there are no consequences for choosing to do so. All right. Nothing that doesn't need to be explained there. So, and make sure that my deck is properly shuffled. Cards are drawn as you play, with the result compared to tables provided. A card may be an event, a location, a being, a thing, or, if it's a joker, a shadow. Let's see. The card should then be aligned in a row, starting from the left-hand side of the player, and then the row goes that way. That one's a little more important. All right. It begins. The Wanderer name, of course, being the creative one. Oh, go away. Go. Shoot. Shoot. Being the extremely creative sort, my name will, of course, be Wyvern. All characters start with, let's see, 6 hit points. 3 wounds. I think that's supposed to be max. Max shadow. Whoops, that's only supposed to be 3. And that's only supposed to be 3. Let's see, 3 spirit. 1 fate. And no other ability. So we have the human, we have the elf, we have the dwarf, the halfling, and the ogre. All stats have a maximum of 6 and a minimum of 0. I think it's a good day to be a dwarf. So that provides me with extra combat skill, extra hit points, and more maximum wounds. Yes, that is acceptable. So, hit points, the total amount of damage a character could take before they are wounded. So it kind of goes on a looping type situation where you get knocked out, you recover, you get knocked, you recover, and eventually, when you take enough wounds, you retire or retire. Combat skill, ability to fight, magic, yeah. Fairly logical options here. Character backgrounds. A character must have 1 background from the selection, provided there are no restrictions on folk and background, so mix and match as you see fit. We have the name, starting stats, and an item. Nope, that's not the screen for the items. This is the screen for the items. So let's see. I have rations. Recover D6 plus 1 HP. And we'll go ahead and say I have 1 of those because that is accurate. Maybe that's too small. I'll regret that later. Okay. Let's take a moment. That there's it was not someone to bother. They had recently returned from a long-off adventure and been marked by the shadows, leaving them irritable and unnerved around others. That just sounds like a normal dwarf. I think adding dwarf, I think that guardian is a perfectly good choice. So the guardian starts with an extra 6 hit points. Just jot that down there for later. A battle axe, a fine choice of weapon. Doing d8 damage. Ring mail for the armor, which does d6 armor. I have an offhand and I have no accessory purely from being a guardian, which is understandable. Character can have maximum of 1 weapon, 1 armor, 1 offhand, 1 accessory, but they can have any number of items. Finding a strange potion on the road can mean life or death, and I rarely think twice about drinking the thing when it comes down to it. Using an item, replacing thing. So yeah, it's asking me to just go ahead and if I get a new weapon, then I toss out the old one. All right, I do have the option to go ahead and get a companion. I think for my first adventure, I'm not going to. So we're going to do quests, and that is going to be based on a card. So let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say. So, the quest. The quest is a 5. Discover the location of a noble family's heirloom so they can put their loved one to rest. Find noble's heirloom. Now, we're going to see how many events, or similar to that, we have. And that is a 2. 1 to 2 requires 4 tracks. So this is going to be a fairly quick quest, comparatively speaking. Tracks cannot be lost during an adventure. Keeping an accurate tally of your tracks' progress is key to completing your quest. The worst quest I was on was with a wanderer who spent weeks looking for some rare mushrooms so a chef could cook a stew. In the end, we found the mushrooms just down the road beside a pile of cow dung. All right, and now it's time for me to stop reading the story and start doing the story. So, step 1, draw a card for the event. Step 2, draw a card for the location. Step 3, accidentally grab the outside of the... There we go. Now, you may be wondering, did I just decide to grab my OBS instead of grabbing the... No, of course that didn't happen. That never happens. Never in my life have I been watching myself to make sure that I'm streaming properly and grab the wrong screen. Events are things that happen on the way to a location. Location is the destination for the character, and then based on that, we decide where we're going next. If we don't know how challenging it's going to be, then we roll randomly to see. And let's go ahead and just skip through some of the informative things. And it'd be about, yes. Okay, so the first thing we have is the event. The second thing we have is the location. So the event, Queen of Diamonds. There will be a friendly patrol on our way to the Hunter's Shack. All right, so let's see what this friendly patrol. Ooh, an ace. An elven minstrel. So I am on my way to a hunter's shack looking for information about where I can find this heirloom. When I come across an elven minstrel who is kind enough to play a song to prepare me even better for the travels ahead. So the effect is I gain 1d6 spirit. 1 point of spirit can be used to add 1+1 to any roll. Fate is similar, except for it lets me just go ahead and completely redo a roll. So let's see how much extra spirits I get. 1. Okay. Out of curiosity. I have lovely. All right, so nothing happens either of a good or bad. Although one does wonder exactly what will happen when I get to the supposed safety of the hunters. So at the hunter's camp, I encounter some kind of being. A being in this case could be good and it could be evil. Now, we were headed to the hunter's camp, so this could go either way. A 2. It is a good being. I am going to go ahead and override. Now that we know that it's a good person, I'm going to override whatever it's recommending for me because I'm looking for something. And I believe that the hunter, whose name shall be I think it's a human hunter, so its name is Miriam. And while they're helping me out, I will get an extra +1 to my combat skills. Okie dokie. Let's. So that was my first one. Where are you? Okay, so the event didn't have a track. Um, and I think that's okay. These are the exciting early. What is going on? Um, so none of these are really saying any tracks. Okay, because I did not actually try to do anything. I went ahead and hired a new friend instead of gaining tracks, all for the good. So let's go ahead and clear all this up. Our events. Spades. So the hunter has found us a path to our next location, which is a collapsed watchtower, which might lead us to the next place. But we have to deal with some very steep cliffs. How difficult these steep cliffs are. We're going to do that by rolling the die instead of just flipping over the die. This it has an unexpected obstacle, but it's not really that unexpected, all things considered. Unfortunately, I don't have any wits. So I need to roll a 12 or I'm going to be damaged. Probably trying to fall off these cliffs. That is substantially lower than a 12. So I do take 2 damage. But despite that attempt to fall, I do reach the watchtower. Where there is at least some information on how to get further, get one track. And there is also a thing. Things. The thing I discover is is represented by a 10 of clubs. It is an orb of contemplation. That would give me 2 magic, which is something I don't have. But that would also mean that I have to go back to the information about magic and learn things. All magic in Wanderer is based on the natural world. Oh wait, this is... That's 0. I currently have a +2. And I'll go ahead and put a note here. I can do 4 spells. A player may channel a spell by paying 1 hit point to gain +2 to their magic total. And bloop, 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 bloop. That can keep going as long as I want. So what spells do I have? There is... Oh, a character may choose up to their magic stat in spells before a quest. Well, that was 0. So I don't have, I don't know any spells. Mm-hmm. So I just have, I just have the ability to cast magic should a book fall into my hand. So, okay. I think we can go ahead and clear this row out. And let's see what happens next. So we've made it to a broken watchtower where I found someone's orb. Probably not a good thing for whatever mage / spellcaster. Oh, there is a screeching animal on my way to... We're going from a watchtower to a tower. And there was some kind of screeching animal. How challenging is the animal? Low is worse, for the record. So whatever it is, it's sneaky and vicious, and since I am absolutely not going to be able to fight it with my wits, it's going to have the opportunity to well, have its way with me for... Why do I have an R under spirits? That was very silly. Okay. Spirit was 4. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that orb of... What was it? Orb of... Orb of being fairly forgetful. Contemplation, that's close enough. Orb of contemplation. +2 magic offhand. Not equals to +2. Okay. So whatever screeching animal it was able to take a massive bite out of me before I could do anything against it. So maybe I'll have a chance to do something against it. No, it looks like just a nice present for me. Let's see. That is a 9 of spades, which is herbs. Shadows, light herbs. And I have one of those, which allows me to recover from my shadow damage and gain 1 track. That will be my second track found. From Hunter's Hovel to Old Watchtower to a broken tower, we now find ourselves on the way. Oh, stop that. To an abandoned cabin that we see from the top of the tower. But on our way there, we have to deal with a rotten stench. The rotten stench is easily overcome, at least by someone with wits. I apparently need to become far more witty. 6, 7, 8. I needed a 10, which means annoyingly enough, I have taken another damage just from tripping over myself while throwing up from the foul stench. Most embarrassing. So when I get to the location, there is something there I need to check. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? A 2. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It is a good person. So probably the abandoned shack is not currently completely abandoned. 8 of hearts, a good being. So as I stumble my way through the horrific stench of the bogs and finally make it to the ruined cabin that I saw before, I come across a group of halfling border guards who are also taking a rest here, and they are willing to share their stories and their food with me. And I leave here completely healed. So that is excellent. All right. Not defeated. But the halfling border guards do not get me further on my way. So I must trust in my hunter companion to see if they can pick up any other leads. Here is the event, and here is where I'm going. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I know that a joker is bad. A wanderer gains shadow to represent burdens, grief, doubt, weariness, and draining hope. After a Joker wildcard is revealed, the player must roll 2d6 and add their spirit for a shadow test based on their current shadow level. My current shadow level is 0, fortunately, and I haven't used any of my spirit. So let's go ahead and see exactly what's going on before we decide how I do. So, leaving the cabin, I suddenly find myself paralyzed with fear as visions of dark birds swarm my mind. A bird approaches, cawing as it moves closer and closer. You are reminded of someone you once loved, but then the bird disappears. You are left alone again. So, Miriam is trying to get my attention. Spirit is 4. So if I get a 6 or better, then I am not affected by this. 8. 8 plus 4 is 12, which is better than 10. So success. So we won't ever know what event that was, because we were forced to move on. And that takes us to Three of Hearts. Oh, this takes us to some farms at the side of a creek. That sounds like it's a nice, relaxing place to get over whatever just happened, as long as I can deal with the sinkholes. The sinkholes near the farms are meh. So yeah, they are an unexpected obstacle. Definitely something that, with a lot of determination, I could do something about, but end up tripping and slipping and sliding into those things because, as a dwarf, I am just too damn stubborn to keep track of where I'm going. So is there anything happening at this location that I need to worry about? Well, there is a being. And it's a good being, again. And keep doing the copy I have on my other screen. A 9 of Hearts. Did I shuffle this, or did I just organize it by suit? A blacksmith. Well, here we are in this farm, and apparently the farmer, the blacksmith at the farming area, wants to help me out in my quest. So the battle axe now does 1d8 plus 1 damage. And at some point, I am sure but I will eventually get into a fight. Okay. So, after discussing with the farmers, and especially the blacksmith, they suggest we head towards, what is that, 2 of diamonds? So we're headed towards the sea to see if there is something that will get us back where we're headed. Unfortunately, on our way there, we come across raging fires. Roll the die. 6. 6 is a easy event, if I remember correctly. Not a shadow test, just a event test. There we go. 5 or 6. So I just need to roll a 10. And that is, of course, far less than a 10. So in my attempts to find a safe way around, and again, not listening to Miriam's advice, because why would I want a companion if I'm actually going to listen to her? I get my beard singed, which is the proper way of things. And that gives me 2 tracks, which means that this last location is going to be where I need to be. 8 of diamonds. So based on information that I found, I go along the shores headed towards a watermill brewery, which for some reason is where the noble's heirloom can be found. 3 of spades. But, frighteningly, a murder of crows is following me. I have had it too easy. I think I'm going to go ahead and, now that I know that in this brewery, I am definitely going to find the thing that I am looking for, I'm going to go straight to the evil beings table and find out what it is that has gotten its hands a jack. Well, that to me seems like the perfect outcome. So, I make it to the Watermill Brewery, which is being used by a group of bandits as their hideout, and find myself able to find the leader of the bandits still left behind and available to discuss the situation with. So let's go ahead and leave that up and discuss combat. Which I skipped earlier because I'm a dingus. Combat. The player starts combat by rolling a 1d6 and rolling a d6. And I meet the enemy head on. So I am going to roll 2 dice and add my combat skill, which is 3 because of Miriam's assistance. 6, 7, 8, 9. The bandit has a difficulty of 8, so I am able to damage them. Which gives me 8, you were 8. Okay, so this is at +1. And my battle axe, freshly sharpened, goes schnicker-schnack. And the bandit lies dead before me, leaving me with the source of the item I have been searching for. So, end of a quest. The epilogue is the finale to a quest. The rules are only resolved if the quest was successful and seen to the end. The player first draws a card and compares So, in exchange for bringing back their heirloom, the noble has gotten his gods to smile down upon me. So I now am a dwarf of many, many healths, which is a lovely thing. Reputation. This being my first quest. Only 1 reputation, which isn't that terrible. Recovers all hit points, bringing me back to 13. I am still at 3. I didn't use any of my rations, so let's go ahead and just see what happens next. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. All right. So having made a name for myself, I was given the opportunity to go for my second quest. Apparently, finding that heirloom was enough for the local constabulary to begin trusting me. They just wanted me to go ahead and scout the area. So 6 tracks, that makes perfect sense for a scouting. This was a 2. Don't feel like I'm missing anything. I still have Miriam with me. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am on my way. Every time it does that, I've got a copy of my PDF open on one of my screens, and every time the table moves like that, I've forgotten to actually click into the book, because I am done. 9 of Hearts. So we are headed into a sheltered cove. So while wandering through the area scouting, we find a sheltered cove, which is the source of an ambush. Three in black suits. Oh, well, I suppose that makes perfect sense for a cove. Unfortunately, and there we go. A 3 on the black suits table is a giant spider. So let's see how my luck holds out. By hiding my die roll? Okay, that is a 6. Oh. But fortunately, I noticed the spider before it notices me, so I get a free attack. Again, I am only worried about a difficulty of 8. And between the hunter's sharp eye, my personal skills, and that being over an 8 just naturally, that is a large amount of damage done to the spider. With an extra 6 points of damage to boot. So that spider is most definitely dead. And what do I find inside the cove? A 5, if I remember correctly, is going to be... Oh! I missed this entire vitally important thing, which is when the combat is a success, roll 1d6 to see what is found. I rolled... Is this the die I rolled? I honestly don't remember. I'm going to start again. A 4 means that I was lucky enough to find a thing on the spider. The thing in question is well, it looks like I got my hand on someone's old breastplate. It's a crested breastplate, so I'm sure whoever lost it is disappointed. But it's got the same defense as my current, but it also reduces my combat skill by 1, so no thank you. Let's just go ahead and put it into the backpack. Because goodness knows that could be an heirloom. You know what? I don't think I want to keep that. So I will have given that away. Okay, so now that I have defeated the spider, I reach the cove proper. And flip, 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 flip. There we go. 6. Draw one thing and gain 1 track. And what lovely thing will I find to go with my souvenir breastplate? 9 of diamonds is a set of Warden's leathers. Now, Warden's leathers do D4 plus 1 defense, which technically makes them slightly more defensive. But for now, I'm going to stick to my ring mail because it makes lovely jangling noises. So next off, I am making my way through diamonds. We've noticed a campsite. We're headed that way when a patrol spots us. What kind of patrol could it be? Well, it's not a good patrol. 2 of... Oh, a river troll sounds like an extremely bad patrol to run across. Fortunately, neither of us gets an advantage or a disadvantage. Okay, I've done really high roll, which is good because I've forgotten that they have a defense here. So I should really remember that this time because well, their defense is really quite good. Okay, so 10 difficulty. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That only barely reaches them. So this is my D8. Yes, yes, yes. 5 points of damage, but that is reduced by 7. That would be no damage whatsoever. Okay. So if I okay, so I only get hit if I miss. So basically, unless I completely miss, then they are assumed to be able to be blocked. But if I miss, I'm sure I've made some tactical mistake. 9 plus my 3 is good enough. So I do 8, 9 points of damage, and the troll blocks 5 of it. So the troll is at 5 hit points remaining. Another round of attack, 3, and so we have it. the takes advantage of a absolutely terrible swing on my part. It would only do 2 points of damage, but I completely block it. I swing again, and I manage to just seeing if there's like a critical hit option. 5 points of damage, and it protects from all of it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another. All right. 5, 6, 7, 8. Where did I get some of my numbers from? Weird. I just went temporarily cray-cray. So that one is a miss, which means that it tries to slam my head into the nearest tree. Which will be 3 damage if it weren't for the fact that I blocked it perfectly. 7, 8, 9, 10. That one is actually a 10. A brutal attack with my axe, which cuts through its defenses and its skin all the way straight down to its heart. Ooh. So having defeated it, that gets me a little closer to my... Well, I mean, I can now report 1 less threat in the area, which is really what we're looking to do. And get back here. So I make it to the three diamonds. I make it to the campsite that I was told to look for. And there... Oh, good. Another fight. So what's at the campsite? Queen of Black Suit. Oh, it's an elven captain who has fallen to the shadow. No wonder the troll wanted to protect him. Okay. So with a roll of 6, I again caught them by surprise. So I get to roll with advantage. So if I need to re-roll one of these dice to do a hit, 4, 5, 6, 7, I can. See if this can be made more impressive. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it cannot be made more impressive. In fact, it can be made worse. Woo! So this elfish captain has an attack of D10. That is a fairly impressive number. So it would only do 2 damage to me. And the ringmail catches that perfectly. Thirsty time. Gives me a chance to attack again. And that is a 10, so right off the bat, a hit. For 8 points of damage, I just read that the dice explode. So if I roll the highest number on the die, then I get to roll again and add that together. 8, 9, 10, 11. The defense of our captain is 6. So 8, 9, 11 minus 4 is 7, yes. So only 7 points of damage to its 6 hit points. The corrupted elven captain has been decapitated. And searching through, I'm able to get my hands on ooh. Well then, thank you very much. I will. All right. So I leave my finely sharpened battle axe behind because I'm thinking because he was corrupted, he wasn't able to use this. He probably just had it stuck into the ground, and was protecting it at the campsite because it is a blessed spear. So the blessed spear gives me +1 combat skill, and it does D8 +2 damage. So cannot complain about that. Can complain about the fact that when I was doing some fights with trolls, I forgot to add an extra point of damage on occasion, but life goes on. Oh. It doesn't necessarily give me any more information about what's in the area. So I find myself heading into the wastelands. But strangely, the area between the wastelands has recently seen an earthquake, and there's a dangerous jump that I have to deal with to get in. 5, that is a simple encounter? Get it back to the top, and yes, an easy encounter. If only I didn't have short, stubby legs, of course. But with a roll of 4, I definitely did not. Fortunately, Miriam is able to grab me and throw me over to the other side before I actually hurt my stupid self. I mean, before I permanently fall into the ravine. So while wandering the wasteland looking for signs to bring back to the captain, one thing, one track. What thing are you offering me today, Mr. Eight of Hearts? An Eight of Hearts is an old halfling pipe. You go ahead and put it in my backpack for now. But if I decide to keep it, then my next quest will start at +2 spirit. That is useful. So from the wastelands, I start heading towards... Oh. There seems to be some kind of old structure in the wastelands. But as I get closer to it, it leaves me feeling uneasy. Very uneasy. So this is the 12 that I have to get. And that is a 5. We're using spirit because it's not going to get me there. Although I guess I could have used it for some of the other ones. But yeah, I needed a 12. So the strange chill in the air seems to be some kind of terrifying spirit haunting the lone archway that I find. And when I finally get away from its presence, I'm still chilled to the bone. But that information, or the existence of the archway, at the very least, does get me a good amount of information that I can bring back to the garrison captain. So from here, there appears to be some kind of bog on the other side of the wastelands, which probably makes sense. But to get to it properly, I have to deal with... Well, I've stayed out too late. I forgot to break camp, and unfortunately, that means that I'm wandering around here when darkness descends. And in that darkness is the shadow. Let's go ahead and do a shadow test. I still don't have any shadow affecting me. I'm still at +4. I'm slightly amused by the thought that I could reduce my spirit to increase my roll. 5. That is not good. Let's go ahead and give it one more time. Throwing my fate to the gods, that things will turn out better. 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 4 is 12. So that one is a success. Although we didn't actually discuss what happen? Anger, hate, and rage fill your emotional cup as your entire body becomes tense. You are unable to control yourself and try to hold on just barely for a bit longer. Suddenly, like a cork popping, you pass out. When you awaken, the emotions are drained and you're exhausted. So yeah, overwhelmed by the darkness. Is that a nightmare? Was that something in the darkness? Who can be sure? What we can be sure of is that when we reach the bog, or is it on our way to the bog? This is a being. This is a nice being. But also, it's not a nice being. Okay, so I don't have fate to go. So I thought I saw someone, but when I approach them, you feel as though the entire world has collectively dumped the worst weather on top of you. You look up, but nothing is there. As your vision continues to move towards the horizon, you notice emptiness all around you. Deep depression sinks in as you slump to the ground. Five. Okay. So we definitely failed this one. After what seems like an eternity in this new world, you blink and are back where you were. I think I'm going to go ahead and continue to see what being I was running across. Okay, where was I? Beings, good beings, nice beings, friend beings. A 4 in a dark suit is a wounded wanderer. And when Miriam and I offer him help, despite our protests, he offers us one of his belongings as thanks. Which is a shield, a very large shield. Giving me +3 defense, but I'm not using it because it also reduces my combat skill by 2. And obviously, this is not a armor built around dwarf. This is a hit thing with big axe built around dwarf. So we're in the bog. And it looks like our next location is going to be Wide River outside the bog. But on our way there... Oh. Actually, on our way there, we find a perfectly good shortcut which is going to get us there quicker and is definitely the sort of thing that the garrison commander is going to want to hear about. I did that too soon because what happened when I reached the stream is that I found more stuff. So happy days for me again. A 10 of clubs would be another orb of contemplation, so I completely ignore that thing because I'm a dwarf and we do not do magic. Okay, please, thank you. So, although I probably have enough information for the garrison, I take one last look. And I find a rocky sinkholes again? Rude. Traveling away from the river, I spy some kind of grave in the distance. That's the impossible one. But sinkholes open up in the earth below me, and I nearly drown in the muck if it weren't, or the dirt and muck underneath the sinkhole if it weren't for Miriam's help. But I do make it to where I thought I saw this. It's a 5 of diamonds. Oh, this rocky grove. It's a grove. It's trees, not corpses, trees. And I don't see anything of interest when I get there. So I am therefore able to proudly head back to the garrison, giving them all the information on what locations there are for them to keep an eye out. And they consider that incredibly helpful, and my reputation is spread far and wide. And then a little bit wider than that, because that is another 3 reputation on top of that huge amount of reputation I just got. So that's nice. So a single title is awarded to a character when they reach the 5, 10, and 20 reputation milestone. Each title provides a bonus to the character. So apparently, due to my ability to track down areas of interest, they have titled me Wyvern the Sleuth. When a location rewards tracks, roll d6. 5 plus equals 1 extra track. That actually makes perfect sense given how I nearly went way too far with my track finding previously. So with it being 8:10 here, I think it's time to have Wyvern the Sleuth go ahead and enjoy his time resting in the garrison. I better go ahead and that. Definitely going to give them the shield and all this other stuff. But I will certainly keep the old halfling pipe for next time. And that next time, as far as I know, is going to be just next week. So if you've enjoyed, please return to see more next week. And as always, remember to be one of the good ones, because there are way too many of the bad. And until next week, good night.